Yes, I've got some good shit to tell you today, brothers and sisters. As I say, we're not gonna bullshit about it. We're gonna tell it just like it is.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Religions by themselves are not corrupt. Oftentimes when we talk about issues, even with religion in the black community, we tend to want to question Christianity or, whatever you're from, right? Whatever denomination you're from, or subgroup. But at the end of the day, it's not the religion that's bad. It's the people behind it. I had a good conversation with a friend a while ago who's a Muslim, and he was explaining his religion, and one of the things that he let me know that was very meaningful was the fact that the Quran was written for everyone to understand. You don't need somebody to interpret it for you. You can read it and interpret it for yourself. It was written in a way so that everybody can understand it. All right, and it was designed that way so you have a direct relationship with God that's pure. You can, you don't need a temple. You don't need this, and the third. Right? It's okay to have those, but literally, you can pray anywhere. It's good. It's direct. It's personal. That's why you tend to see more devout Muslims than you do Christians or Catholic. We have trendy, fair weather Christians and Catholics out here who pretty much turn to their religion when they do something bad and they can't deal with it, and it's eating them alive pretty much. And he talked about the perversion of Muslim culture in terms of what we see nowadays and how people feel about the Muslim religion. And he said all that is due to the introduction of a clergy type system, where now all of a sudden you have a religious hierarchy. So now you have your religious leaders and a religious leading group who are now serving to interpret the Quran and put that on other people, right? So, and from my understanding of the Quran, it's heavily based on interpretations. But what happens is you have this ruling class that's always linked pretty much to money and capitalism, right? Look at Saudi Arabia, for example. They have their ruling class and all that other good stuff, and they interpret and implement the rules of the Quran, and it's based off of their interpretation of it, right? It's not based off of what is fact in terms of what the Quran says, because it's open interpretation, and everybody has the right to interpret it how they best see fit, right? So you see that perversion within it, but it's not the religion itself. Even with Christianity, there's nothing wrong with the religion per se, right? In my opinion, if you take all the different religions of the world and you strip them down to their common denominator, they're gonna be similar, right? There's gonna be differences, but we can all agree that they're probably all going to have the same set of guidelines in terms of morality, righteousness, community, sacrifice, right? They're all going to have the same pillars, just in different words. But what happens, right? Why do we live in a world where we swear up and down that religions are so different? Well, we have people who are interpreting them and telling you what to think. Right? My problem with Christianity, even growing up, is that it's so blatantly obvious that the people are worshiping the pastor. Right? I've had situations where, I've been attending a church and a pastor left, and literally half the congregation left. Why? If he's just a middleman, why? Right? Obviously he was more. And whenever you give man power, right? Whenever a human being willingly gives another man power, it will corrupt him. It's like some Lord of the Rings type stuff, right? Whenever you give somebody power, that, one ring to rule them all, they're going to be corrupted by it. So now we look at, Catholics and Christians who are dominated by, their religious hierarchy, their religious leading group in terms of their bishops and their Christians, and their pastors, and all the other positions that make up a church type administration, right? We see that they're doing all the ruling, and you're seeing corruption because they are nothing more than men. They can still suffer from all the afflictions that men and women have to suffer from. They're not how can I put this? They're not protected from it. They're probably even more exposed to it, because who's going to call out the pastor, right? If he's acting out of pocket, who really is going to come through and say, I don't like what you're doing? Another pastor? Who knows? Especially if they're on the same level. So that's where we start to see corruption, right? Because now you have people who can twist the Bible to manipulate it to help them gain from it, right? To help them gain. And we as people have forgot that every religion, I don't care what it is, allows for you to have a direct relationship with God. It is what it is. So if I say I want somebody who's God-fearing, who's spiritual and religious, it really has nothing to do with how often they go to church. It really has nothing to do with how much time they spend in the church, because your religion allows you to have a direct relationship with your God. And any religion that does it, any religion that promotes the whole idea of having to serve your Lord via a religious ruling class, isn't the religion for me. It isn't. And that's the one thing that we can take from true Muslim culture. People ask, why are they so extreme? Well, ask yourself, why are you so open? Why are you so lackadaisical? Right? There is no reason to why, Christians and Catholics shouldn't be, as quote unquote militant as Muslims are seen. Right? They come off more militant because a lot of them have direct relations with their God. It's just that a few or certain groups within the whole umbrella of Muslim religion are pretty much being led astray by a religious ruling class that has capitalist desires. That's what we see. That's what's going on. Who twist and manipulate the religion to suit them. But even then, right, the direct relationship is strong in Muslim religion, where it's not with Christians, right? I'm not going to speak too much on Catholics, but especially with Christians. So I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel. I know it's a touchy subject. My intentions aren't to promote Muslim culture or to denounce Christianity. I'm more so trying to get at the direct relationship that we all need to have with our own religions, and the marginalizing of our religious ruling class that's had too much power, right? And therefore are now beginning to feed into their capitalist desires. Look at mega churches. Look at what's going on. You can't tell me they're not going to use that power and that influence to suit some of their own capitalist ambitions. I was watching a special in closing. Let me, end this, but I was watching a special a couple of days ago. What was it? National Geographic? I forgot what channel. And they were talking about Muslim culture, and it was a great little documentary. And they were talking about how in the past there was no such thing as a full-time pastor, right? There wasn't. You always had an occupation, because there was no need for a pastor or somebody to interpret the Quran for you, right? And the woman that was speaking was saying that the fact that we even have religious leadership amongst Muslim religion goes against what the Quran is supposed to be about. If it's supposed to be comprehensible to everybody, there is no need. But why is it that we now have people who are interpreting the Quran full time, who are making money off of it, who have a following? So anyways, you guys tell me how you feel. Take it easy. God bless.